Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Can you tell us your name and where you come from, sir?
Where I come from?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my names are Tochi Banfort. My business name is Banfort Nigeria Limited, and I'm from Obunike, Anambra State, the southeastern part of Nigeria.
Okay, what do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a trader. I sell car batteries, inverter batteries, all different type of automobile batteries.
For how long have you been into this business, sir?
I'm new. I've been around for 3 years now. Remember, I'll make it my 3rd year.
Okay. And for the past 3 years, can you share some of the experiences you've had so far with us?
The business is an up and down business. It's not stable. It's not stable, and the reason why it's not stable is because, in my opinion, I'm not an importer, I'm a distributor.
Okay.
And most of the importers, they have a lot of credit facilities. They have more credit facilities than they need.
Wow.
It's a situation where the challenge is there is a situation whereby the supply exceeds the demand.
Okay.
So when things are like that, most of the time what you get to see is that prices keep dropping. Prices keep dropping constantly. You might buy a goods for 10,000 naira. Normally, the same person that brings that same good is supposed to sell that good, that same 10,000. Okay. But because he has enough credit, he has a lot of market where, and maybe he's owing, he will come immediately, he will cut it down to 9,500.
Okay.
He will cut it down to 9,000, and nobody else. The market is an open market, no secret in it.
And it automatically affects.
It affects, yes. Those ones you've bought before now, you will now be selling below. You have to sell maybe below your cost price. It's a business, yes. It's a business where the gain, the profit margin is poor compared to the capital being invested in.
Wow. Okay, are you now saying there is no price control system?
No price control system.
Wow.
Anybody can import and sell what they want to sell. No regulation.
So how can the prices be regulated in your own opinion? How can that challenge be solved in your own opinion?
To me, it has to do with the head from the top, from the source where the batteries are coming from.
Okay.
Any reform in the business has to come from the head, in the sense that you can't stay and constantly give people credit. You can't be constantly giving people
credit,
excess credit, excess, because it's that excess credit that used to cause everything. Because normally, maybe like in a year, as in 12 months, once in a 1 month in a year, we normally experience scarcity.
Okay.
Yes, and when that scarcity is there, that is when you will find out that maybe this business is good, because with scarcity, we the distributors, we are forced to buy with cash. And when you buy with cash, you increase. You can't buy with cash. Maybe you buy this battery now, you buy this battery 20,000. Now credit, you're selling 300. By the time you buy with cash 20,000, you're selling with a bigger
profit margin.
You're selling with 1,000. You're selling with 1,500. So, but the problem is in the sense that the Chinese people, the Korean people that supply them, the importers, the battery, they do give them excess credit. The problem with the business only is excessive credit.
Wow. Now, as a businessman, what other challenges do you face along the line?
To be honest, it's just this. It boils down to this credit issue I'm talking about. Because when goods you get on credit, you will be forced to sell to your customers with credit, and sell them credit. Because if you don't give them, other people are going to give them.
Okay.
When you don't give them this credit, other people are going to give them credit. So you are forced to give them credit, and most customers, when you give, they don't always pay. They don't pay. So you're now like in a bubble. You're collecting money in this market. You're under the pressure of paying the importer. Then under that pressure, you supply your credit. Then your customers now are not paying you. They are tying your money down, locking your money down, and all those things. So the truth is that it just, to me, it just boils down to that credit aspect.
Okay. Now, in your opinion, what ethnic group of people own the largest business in your country?
Business, the Igbos.
And why will you say that, sir?
Yeah, it's the Igbos, because the Igbos are trained in the Igbos. We right from the onset, right from the creation of Nigeria, we have always been. It's just maybe, like, in my opinion, this is my opinion, right? In the past, say, 20 years, 30 years, that the Igbos began appreciating education. Fully, they want their kids. You see a businessman, he wants his child to be a senator, he wants his child to be a doctor, he wants his child to be a lawyer. It's just recently the Igbos embraced that type of lifestyle against the Yorubas, against the Hausas. The Yorubas have always held education. So most Yorubas, even in public, in the eyes of in the court of public opinion, based on the Yorubas, you get to find out that the Yorubas appreciate a multi-millionaire that has to do, maybe he's a barrister, maybe he's a lawyer, maybe he's a doctor, he's a professional. They appreciate that millionaire more than a billionaire that is trading into buying and selling. There has been business, but right from the onset, the Igbos, we have always been. In fact, you give birth to your child, you're praying that your child becomes a big businessman. Most of us don't want these doctors. We say, how much do they pay doctors? How much do doctors earn? How much do lawyers earn? That, don't worry, I'm going to, my son will be a big trader. Then he will employ those barristers, those lawyers, those engineers. That has always been the Igbo man's, the average Igbo man's perspective on the issue. Then the Hausas too, the Hausas are power crazy, they go to school and all that. But normally it's Igbos that are no. The Igbos have always been the ones that, even before the war, even before Biafra war, the Igbos have always been the ones that have always been business minded. But it's just recently that maybe even the Hausas too, they've been business minded, but they are not as diversified. They are not as diversified. Yes, they are not, should I say, an all-rounder like an Igbo man. The Hausa people, they have a specific place they do. They have specific items they do business, and they stop. But the Igbo man will go around. There's no business an Igbo man will not do, and he will not thrive in. Because I don't know whether it's a blessing from God. I don't know. I don't want to be superstitious. But the Igbo man is a man that any business in every field you find an Igbo man, he will succeed. Houses, when you go to all these textile, mostly, then some other things like that, they do very well, but they don't do, this is my business now. Hausa people, there are some successful Hausa people, but you can't compare them with Igbos. Yes, when it comes to batteries now, when it comes to motor parts, this interview is being conducted at auto parts market. When, like, the whole of this market now, there's no Hausa person that has a shop that he's selling battery. And this is the biggest market in Nigeria for auto parts. Wow. Yes, so you don't have a Hausa person, but when you go to the north there, where they are selling batteries, you will see a Hausa man, and you will still see Hausa man, Igbo people in the same capacity as the Hausa man. So
Now, what will this mean if black-owned businesses across the world?
Yeah.
How can they connect with each other?
How else? How do businesses connect? How else do businesses connect?
Okay, apart from the normal internet and in your own opinion, how can we connect with one another in another country in order to have a black-owned community?
Everything has to me. One of the key things, one of the key issues now, in fact, if not the key issue, in fact, the reason why, like I complained about credit and business and all those things, what's happening now is that there's a lack of trust. There's a lack of trust now. Now people have made it when you just give them most outsiders, most maybe Chinese, because Chinese are the biggest suppliers of market in Nigeria as a whole, if not Africa. So mostly with this Chinese, even America, the issue now, it has to be with trust, and that trust is not just the white people, even the blacks that are abroad. Because in most times you see, you give people goods, they eat your money, they run away with your money, they don't remit your money back to you, and business is about remitting money. If I give you this market, to remit the money for those goods, those credits, but it's now the issue. When it comes to how to connect, is there should be a base of trust. There should be a base of trust. When there's trust, I believe everything you say, you make your phone call, you book your order, you make your transactions. It's just trust. Whether it's through internet, whether it's through phone call, whether it's through social media, whatever. Yes, the core issue now is the core issue is issue about trust. The core issue has to do with trust. You understand? Because without trust, you can't really do business. These Chinese people that come and they do, and maybe Nigeria government will go and say, borrow me so amount of money, borrow me so billions of naira. The issue why it works is because Chinese people now, they know the agreements they make. Even if this regime cannot pay them the money, they have vested interest already. You don't pay them this amount of money, they take so amount of land where there are natural resources and all those things. So then now they're looking at it as, if there's no trust, if I can't trust you to pay me back, at least I can fall back on something, on this your natural resources. Yeah. So when it comes to a businessman like me, it has to do with trust. During the 90s, I was opportune. I have my wife, elder sister's husband. During the 90s, early 90s, when they were coming up, people that are in their late 50s now, early 60s now, or 70s and above, they were the ones who spoiled things the way things are now, and they were the ones who enjoyed that business. Is this an interruption? Don't worry. They were the ones that they were the ones who spoiled things. They were the ones who enjoyed and exploited and corrupted the foreigners' trust. Whether black on black business, yes, whether black on black business, anything that has to do with abroad, it was them, because then they had these liberal hands being given to them. You can stay without any deposit. They will send goods for you. They will send containers for you. 50 containers, 20 containers, high demand. And some of them that time they came with a virtuous mind to do the business. They made money. They will sell. You give them. They will sell. They will remit money back and come back. But mistrust began coming in, and theft began coming in, and everything. So before you know it, you found out that some people started, you give them money, they use your money, you give them goods, they sell your goods, they don't remit money, they use your money to go and invest and hide and steal and everything. So that is why now it's harder That's why now it's harder. It's more difficult for the average business. That's why, like I said earlier, talking of that credit issue. Talking of that credit issue, that is where it comes in now. Because then, back then, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, if they give you goods, they trust you to sell it, so you will sell it at your pace. You will make your money. You will sell it at your pace. Remit the money. You're making your gain. Okay. But now, because of the mistrust, China will tell you, before I give you this market, you pay half of the money. You pay 75% of the money. Now you don't have that money to pay. You go to the bank, you got to collect loan from the bank. You go and borrow money from the bank. After borrowing money from the bank will charge you, they will give you their interest rates. 20, 30 years ago, nobody goes to bank to borrow money and say, for goods, how much am I going to make? Because the goods were given freely. You sell, you remit your money, you pay. But now you go to the bank will give you so interest. And when you don't meet up, okay, you might go to the bank now and borrow money for 3 months. 2 months, your goods have not come back.
Wow. And
the same goods you use that bank loan to book, then you now find out that when those goods might come back 3 weeks or 2 weeks before you have to.
That's the deadline.
Pay, yes, your deadline to pay up that check, to pay up that debt. So what you will be forced to do now, when your goods come, the profit margin you're looking at, you can't meet up with it, because in order for your goods to move, for you to get your cash, you have to cut down price. You have to subsidize your profit margin. And that is where theft comes in, because most of the times, how do you do business? How can I maybe borrow 40 million naira, borrow 50 million naira from a bank with all the risks being involved? From a 40 million naira transaction, I can't hold 1 million naira. I can't hold 2 million naira profit.
As a profit.
Yes, that is where the mistrust comes in. So my bottom line is, everything has to do with trust. We have to find a way. We have to find a way to bridge the gap between trust and you meeting up and you remitting. There has to be business is trust. There has to be that trust. We just have to both parties have to come together and meet, because in a business where there's trust and everybody is doing their part, the richest people, the most successful people in business, the most successful people in trading business nationwide, be you any tribe, be you Igbo, be you Yoruba, be you Hausa, the people who are making money are those that are being trusted. When you're being trusted, the business will go. It will move.
Okay, now for a young person that wants to venture into business, what advice will you give such person?
Capital, have enough money. Any business you want to do, if you don't have your capital, it's as if you might slave for 10 years and not get anything. The most important thing now in business is capital. When I mean capital, I don't mean you going to bank, maybe bank borrow you money, you say you have capital. That is not capital. That is liability. What you need, to be honest, to succeed in business. Now that's why if you check it now, okay, just like, let me just take a little bit step back to what I was saying about people who did business in the 90s. Okay. There were people who did apprentice during the 80s. They settled them in the 80s. They gave them peanuts, go and start up. And they started. Then Chinese people do come to the market, they walk around, they look at you, they trust you, they give you goods, you start selling. That is how they go. Back then they didn't need much capital to do business, and they grew because they were getting credit facilities. Now, this is my business now. If after serving for 8 years, you do apprentice 8 years, and you're being given 1 million naira
to start up your own
business. This battery you're seeing here now, this battery of 1,600,000. This battery you're seeing here now, this is a battery of 1,600,000. Now, most people that do apprentice today, after 6, 7, 8 years, they don't even settle you with 1 million naira. You're not being settled with 1 million. That is to tell you that as this battery is now, after serving for 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, some people 9 years, you're not guaranteed of getting the capital for this business. And this is a business that is very capital intensive. Okay. From this battery of 1,650,000, my profit here is not going to be more than 30,000 for this battery here now. My profit is not going to be more than 30,000. So when you settle somebody and he doesn't have credit facility, how does he do the business? How does he do the business? Now there's only like a 10%. There's only now like a 10% success rate. If you come in from the village and you do apprentice, there's only like a 10% success rate. Because the money they will give you after 8 years is not even enough for you to start. Okay, you're giving that, but how much will you pay for shop? So any young person coming in, hold your capital and still end that business, because at the same time, even if you hold your capital and come into that business, if you don't know anything about that business, your money will sink. You will still fail. You will still fail. So you come in, probably if you're a graduate, you come in, you take out like 1 full year, or if you're patient enough, you take out like 2 years. You run the business. After running the business, if you have parents that are well to do, or any source of money, you take the money, they give you the money, you use the money and you start up. But just like I said, you don't go and borrow money and start up and you say you have capital.
It's true.
Anything can happen. You can use 10 million and start up, and when you start up you lose like 2 million naira, you still have 8 million naira
to fall back on.
Well, you can't go and borrow 10 million naira. When you borrow 10 million, maybe you're expected to pay 11.5 or 12 million. Then you now go and lose 2 million naira. It doesn't make sense.
And that's even within a short frame of time.
Yes. So everything just falls down. Everything falls down. It's only that business is not easy, but I believe everybody wants to do business. Aside professionals, aside doctors, aside engineers, aside lawyers, I believe everybody, any other occupation, you're a banker, you're not a professional, you see, everybody wants to do business, but just that capital issue
that is holding
that is holding them back, that have made them, okay, let me just see if I can get a job at the bank, okay, let me see if I can stay here and work, okay, let me see. Everybody wants business, but where do you get the capital to start up? A tangible, not just anything, a tangible capital. My advice to anybody, this battery business, if you have less than 5 million naira, don't come in.
Wow.
Yeah, if you have less than 5 million naira, don't. 5 million naira, I'm just trying to be.
I mean, just for a start.
I wish I could show you. 5 million naira.
You just run your product.
5 million naira is just 3 pillars like this. This pillar you're seeing like this now. This pillar you're seeing now is up to 1.9 million. Wait, let me open it. This pillar you're seeing like this now, from up to down, this is about 1.8 million. This 1.8 million, this 2 million.
Wow.
This roughly, let me just tell you 2 million. Just this one pillar you're seeing now, one pillar you're looking at now. So these 3 batteries, these 3 sets now, this year, and this year is about 5 million naira. Wow. Not to tell you inside, to fill a full shop, To fill a full shop now, to fill a full shop is roughly between 30 to 40 million.
Wow.
Nothing less than 35 million.
To have a full shop
yes.
of batteries.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Wow. It's nothing less than 40 million to have a full shop. So when you come in with 5 million, what does 5 million get you? What does it do for you? What does it do for you? Why I mention 5 million is because with your 5 million you can get maybe credit facility of about 10 million naira. So you now have 15 million with you. You have 5 million with the 10 million you have. So it's a business where the more money you have, the better for you. Every young man it has to do with capital. Capital. You have capital and you have the goods. It's not just about having the goods again. It's to have an outlet where the goods, because it makes no sense packing when you don't have an outlet for the goods to go to, to sell it out. So capital is equally as important as the outlet. Yes, as the outlet.
Okay, sir, do you have any last word or message for the black community generally?
There will always be a last word. The thing there is just that everybody should just keep. It's not easy here. It's not easy here, and it's not easy there. Where you are. To be honest, I believe everybody loves being at home. Most Nigerians, most of my tribe, most of the Igbo tribes that we see everywhere, if things were very good for them here, they wouldn't want to be in America.
It's true.
Yeah, they don't want to be in Canada. People that live, you don't have opportunity in Nigeria and live and go and run away from Nigeria to Canada. So it's because it's not easy here. That's why we go over there, and there too you're going to is not easy. So my final word is this: just keep striving, just keep working hard, just keep giving it your best. That is what this life is about. Life, just give it your best. Nobody knows. Everybody, whatever situation you're facing now, there are billionaires today. I'm not telling you billionaires in Naira. There are billionaires in dollars that have faced worse than you did. I don't know who has that quote, but there's a quote that goes that opportunities multiplies as they are being seized. The more you seize the opportunities you get, the more it expands. Not geometrically, but exponentially. It keeps going. It keeps going like this. It keeps going like this. The more you're seizing, the more you're seizing the opportunity. So just keep giving it your best. Don't be deterred. It's not easy. Nothing. If it's good, nothing great comes easy. Wow. And winning and losing are part of the mistake we make is that we feel that every time we have to win. We have to win. You must make gain. You must make gain. Winning and losing are part of life. Okay. Winning and losing are part. Any businessman that tells you that he doesn't lose money is a rubbish. He's saying nonsense. You gain sometimes and you lose sometimes. So that is the final word.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for giving us your time and having you on our platform, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, and all the best. All the best to you people out there.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful day.
You too.